Hello lovely humans, welcome back to Intuitive Moves. My name is Lana and today we're going to be going through a full body stretch, so super chill. You don't need anything, you don't even need a mat, I'm just being a little extra. So grab some space, put on something comfy, maybe put on your favorite podcast or your favorite playlist, whatever floats your boat, and let's just stretch out, chill a little bit. So finding a seated position, and we'll sit up nice and tall. If you'd like to, maybe bringing a pillow underneath your hips just to raise your pelvis above your knees, make it a little bit more comfortable. Sitting up nice and tall, and let's just start with some neck releases. So taking your ear over to your shoulder, finding a nice release through the side of your neck, just taking the opposite hand out long, holding here for your inhale, and as you exhale, bring it down towards your hip. So we're just intensifying that stretch. Once you've found it, let your hand relax down by your side. Maybe you'd like to close down your eyes or soften your gaze. Just guiding your breath into that stretch right through the side of your neck. Let's take our chin down towards the ground, keeping a head tilt over to the side. We'll just feel that stretch move towards the back of the neck. And then we'll take our chin up towards the sky, keeping our head tilt over to the side. Feel that stretch move to the front of your neck. Let's just work our way through all of those positions, maybe rocking your chin forward and back. Finding whatever feels nice in your body. And maybe you'd like to hold in those stretches, or maybe you'd like to move through them. It's completely up to you, whatever feels nice. Stay here for another 3 breaths. And on your next exhale, let's make our way all the way up and over to the other side. Take your hand out long. Exhale to bring it down towards the side. Find that stretch through the outside of, the side of your neck here. Relax your hand down once you've found that stretch and guiding your breath in towards it. And let's take our chin down towards the ground and up towards the sky. And working your way through all 3 of those, maybe tilting your chin forward and back, whatever feels nice. Again, either holding where you feel tension or moving through it. Three more breaths, yeah. And on your next exhale, release your chin down towards your chest. Place your hands on the back of your head and not adding any pressure, just letting the weight of your hands draw your chin a little bit closer to your chest. Maybe you find a nice release through the top of your neck into your upper back. 2 more breaths. And exhale to release your hands, sitting up nice and tall. Let's just take 2 big shoulder rolls. Finding a nice tall posture again. And releasing, bringing your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers and pull your hands away from your bum, lifting them up towards the sky, finding a nice chest stretch right through the front. Words are not flowing through to me naturally today, but hopefully I'm still making sense. And release your hands, interlace your fingers in front of you. Press your palms away from you. Dome out through the upper back. And exhale to come back to center. Right hand to the floor, left hand reaches up and over. Bend your underneath elbow and find a nice side body stretch here. Holding for 1 more inhale. Exhale to take it over to the other side. Holding for 1 more inhale, and exhale to release, coming back to center. Let's rock over to our hands and knees, placing your pillow off to the side or maybe underneath your knees if that feels nice. We'll just find some cat-cows, so shoulders are over wrists, hips are over knees. Drop your belly, open out your chest, look to the sky. Exhale to round out through your spine, look to your belly button. Inhale to drop your belly, open out your chest. Excuse me, exhale to round out through your spine. Keep this going with your breath, and maybe you'd like to explore some barrel rolls, wagging your tail, shifting your weight forward and back, whatever feels nice. Just moving intuitively. If it feels good, then it is perfect. If you're feeling any type of pain or discomfort, it's not perfect, so change it. Finding whatever feels good. Last 2 breaths here. And exhale to find child's pose. Sink your hips down towards your heels. Walk your fingertips to the front of your mat or just out in front of you. Lift your elbows up and hug your shoulder blades down. Your forehead can rest down onto the ground. So our elbows are up, our shoulder blades hug down, so we're finding a nice shoulder release here. Let's stay here for 3 breaths. And on your next exhale, gently rock back up to a 4-point kneeling. Stepping your right foot to your right thumb and lifting your hands up towards the sky. We want to find a 90-90 with our legs here. You can relax your hands by your side unless you like to add those fancy arms. This isn't a yoga class, Lana. And we want to think of tucking the pelvis under to lengthen through the quad here. Once you've found that tuck, maybe you already feel a stretch through the quad. And if you don't, squeeze your glutes and maybe press those hips a little bit further forward, really keeping the intention on stretching this back quad. And if that doesn't feel like much of an intensity for you, maybe bending that back knee, holding onto your foot. Again, tucking your pelvis, pressing your hips forward, and we should find a nice stretch through the front of the back leg. We want to be pushing to a point of sensation, but never pain. So if you feel any pain or extreme discomfort, always back out of the pose. Stretching should feel nice. We're not doing gymnastics in 2005. We don't need to be doing oversplits. Just looking for a nice sensation. Let's hold here for 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. Exhale to release your foot with control down towards the ground, and we'll find a hamstring stretch. So straighten out through your front leg. Hinge at your hips, so think of sticking your butt out or opening your tailbone to the back of the room. Hands can come to the ground either side of your leg, or maybe finding a bolster or a pillow or anything that can help bring your hands a little bit higher. And we're looking for a nice stretch right through the back of your front leg, so right through the hamstrings. And as we settle into this stretch, just think of pulling your right hip backwards, so we're squaring the hips to the front of the mat or towards your front toe, and sinking your chest down towards the ground. Again, finding a point of sensation, but never pain, and guiding that breath into the stretch. Let's have 1 more inhale here. And exhale to release. We'll find a low lunge, this time stretching into the hip flexors. So we're going to let our hips drop down towards the ground, still squaring the hips, so pulling that left hip forward, right hip back, as we let our hips sink down towards the ground. Maybe you find a release right through the front of your hip here, right into those hip flexors. Again, you can bring your hands to a stool or a cushion either side, or a block either side of you, or maybe those hands just come down to your hips. Two more breaths. And on your next exhale, gently release. Use all the support that you need. Let's come into a pigeon pose. We walk that right foot over towards your left hand and lower the right knee down towards the right wrist. So we're squaring the shin to the front of the mat if you have a mat, or just to your wrists. Once we've found that position, we walk our left leg away from us, finding a glute stretch to the outside of your front leg. So we really want to think of squaring the hips to the front. So pulling that left hip forward, right hip back to find that stretch through the glute. And if you're not feeling that stretch in your glute into your right butt cheek, maybe you need to wiggle side to side. Maybe you need to walk your left leg further away from you. And once you've found that stretch settling in, maybe you stay up on your hands, maybe you drop down to your elbows or onto your chest, whatever is comfortable. Maybe you'd like to place a pillow underneath your head and let your forehead relax down. We'll hold here for 5 breaths. One more inhale here. And gently releasing, walking your hands back underneath your shoulders. And we'll press back into a 4-point kneeling as we make our way to the other side. So our left foot steps towards the left thumb. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Let's lengthen our pelvis down towards the ground and press the hips forward, finding the release through the front of the back leg here. Again, if you need a little bit more intensity, maybe lifting that back foot up towards your bum. And if you are, just making sure that pelvis is still tucked. So we don't want to be dropping through the hips here. Really targeting that back quad. That big muscle right through the front of your leg. If you have sensitive knees, you can always put a cushion underneath your knee. Let's stay here for another 3. Last inhale. And exhale with control. Release your foot down to the ground. Straighten out through your front leg to find our hamstring stretch. Finding some props next to you to bring your hands a little bit higher if you need to. Flex your toes back towards your shins and walk your hands either side of your leg. Remembering to square the hips so our left hip pulls back, right hip pulls forward. And we should feel that stretch right through the back of this front leg. We have another 3 breaths here. Last inhale. And exhale to bend into your left leg. Let's find our hip flexor stretch. So sitting up nice and tall. This time we'll lengthen our pelvis down and drop our hips down towards the floor. So we're finding that stretch right through the front of your back hip. Keeping control of that breath in through your nose. Maybe out through your nose if you're feeling a little bit tight, out through your mouth. We have another 3 breaths here. One more inhale. And exhale to gently release, making our way to pigeon pose. Our left toes walk over towards the right. Hands on the floor and our shin is somewhat parallel with the front. Let's walk our right leg away from us, looking for the stretch through the outside of this left glute. Maybe you need to wiggle side to side or walk that leg a little bit further back. An option to stay upright, option to come down to your elbows or down onto your chest, finding that stretch in your body and taking the time to feel it. Once you've found it, settling into your breath here. 2 more breaths. Last inhale here. Exhale to gently walk your hands back underneath your shoulder. Let's sit onto this left hip as we swing our legs around to the front. We'll just have a lie down on our backs to find a supine twist or a spinal twist here. Hugging your left knee in towards your chest. Let's just take a couple of hip circles, bringing that the knee in towards your chest, out to the side. One more this direction. And let's change direction. Circle that knee in towards your midline. And finding stillness here, hug it in nice and close to your chest. Hold onto your left knee with your right hand. And as you exhale, take your left knee over to the right hand side. Adjust your hips if you need to so your hips can stack on top of each other. And if that feels okay, extend your arms out long. Maybe your eye gaze goes over the left hand. We're here for 4 breaths. And really guiding that breath into the twist of your spine. And if you're feeling a little bit restricted, just take the exhales through your mouth and see if you can settle into it a little bit more. Last 2. And 1 more inhale. And exhale to roll onto your back. Take a moment to realign your hips here. Shake it out if you need to. Extend your left leg long, right knee hugs into your chest. Let's find our hip circles. And changing directions. Finding stillness here, hug your knee into your chest. Hold onto your knee with your left hand. Exhale to take it over to the left hand side. Adjust your hips so they can stack on top of each other. And maybe your eye gaze goes back over the opposite hand. 5 breaths. One more inhale here. Exhale to roll onto your back. Readjust your hips. Let's find one last stretch before we finish up. Happy baby. Pistol grip your big toes or hold the outside blades of your feet. Draw your knees down towards your armpits and press your tailbone into the ground. Maybe you find a wiggle side to side. Maybe you'd like to extend one leg, both legs. Have a little bit of fun here. We're really looking for that inner thigh release. Last 2 breaths. One more big inhale. And exhale to release your arms and legs long. Let's finish off with a couple of breaths in Shavasana. Take up as much space as you would like to here. Readjust. Take any fidgets, any fiddles you need to out of your body. We're only here for 5 breaths. Scanning through your body, seeing how you feel, checking in with yourself. Maybe setting an intention for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. Just let yourself settle into your breath. When you're ready, gently introducing a little bit of movement, maybe finding a full body stretch. And taking your time here, slowly coming back. Thank you so much for stretching with me today. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any requests, please let me know in the comments below. And as per usual, it'll mean the world to me if you subscribe. I'd love to bring you more classes, more stretching videos, more Pilates, more circuit training, all of the things. So please subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see below, and I'll see you next time on the mat.